So I hope that those people that came to the channel just for SCP stick around and see, hear me cover other stuff as well. Let's see here. I know I'm going to miss a lot of questions here. I apologize. Which SCP is my favorite? In the old days, when I first read through the first 1,000 back in 2011-ish, my favorite was SCP-354, the Red Pool, which I should be covering pretty soon on the channel. Nowadays, it's harder to say. I do like 184 a lot because I love the Kowloon Walled City. I like 3001. It's almost really more of a tale, but it's just it's such an emotional take on science fiction and horror, and every time I read it, it's just touching. There's a lot of SCPs that I like. I will say, if you're going to ask a question about any specific SCP, I'm not an encyclopedia, so if you can include just like a little description of it with the number, that would help a lot. Is there any schedule for SCP videos? So, yes, if you are a patron on my Patreon, every week I put up a poll that has a whole big list of SCP topics, and whichever SCP topic wins the poll that week, that is the next video I cover. Now that is specifically only for the Monday videos. The Thursday extra videos, those are just usually shorter ones that I just feel like covering, because I'm trying to do 2 a week during the holiday season. I've seen a lot of questions about when will I explore a certain series. So for those people that are new to the channel and have not seen how I do things, it is very different than a lot of channels. I actually have shockingly little control over what series I cover. Whenever I finish a series, I put up a couple polls on the whole YouTube channel, and those polls are voted on by viewers, and that decides what series I cover next. I do reserve the right to veto any series if I really don't want to do it, but so far that has not happened. And it's really great because if it were just up to me picking series, I would have never done SCP. I was a fan of SCP back in the day. I had sort of moved on from it, and I thought it just wasn't the right fit for my channel, funnily enough. I would have never picked it myself. So thanks to the polls, that's what won, and here we are, and I'm really glad. It's been a huge boost to the channel, and I'm glad everyone is enjoying it. So in January, next month, I will be doing a new set of polls to decide a new series for me to cover. That does not mean SCP is going to go away in January. SCP will actually still be the main series that I try to put out every week. The other series, I'll put it out maybe also every week, but I'm not going to guarantee that. So it really could be anything. Last time, I think in second place behind SCP was the Witcher series, so that's a front runner, I would say, but I really have no control over it. It could be anything. Will we ever see an explanation for SCP-272, the Shadow Nail? Is that the one? That's the one where you drop the nail on somebody's shadow and then they can't move from there? Is that it? It's hard to say. I mean, I'd have to look at some tales that are associated with it, if there are any. For shorter concepts, if there are a bunch of interesting tales, I can make a video around that. That's what happened with SCP-173. By itself, that was not really worthy of a video. Also, if I can find other SCPs that sort of connect to it, maybe I can do a compilation. I'm thinking about doing a video on beneficial SCPs. So SCP-500 and SCP-2000, stuff like that would be combined into one video. That's probably not the Shadow Nail specifically, but yeah, if I can find a way to work it into a nice cohesive video that's longer than 4 minutes, I'll consider just about anything. SCP-3999, that is on the poll on Patreon, so eventually I will do it. I just don't know when. I believe the author themselves requested that I do it, so it's going to happen at some point. That's a complicated one. A Doom lore series, yeah. I'm a huge fan of Doom. I just recently played through all the games. I would definitely like to cover some Doom lore. Probably a shorter series, but... What is my favorite series that I've done? Probably... Oh, boy. Cthulhu Mythos, of course, was the first one I did that really started the Exploring series. So that always has a special place in my heart. I've liked almost every one, really. Probably I've liked every single one. Norse mythology was something completely different. I was so nervous about covering Norse mythology because I was like, there's going to be like professors and stuff. There's going to be people that study this for a living watching these videos and massacring me on my pronunciation, which is exactly what happened. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I learned so much about Norse mythology, Celtic mythology, same thing. And SCP has been a blast as well. What do you think about other SCP channels? I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to insult anyone. I think they vary in the amount of effort put into their content, I would say. There are some channels that are sort of pillars of the community. And like the Volgan. I mean, I'm not going to beat around the bush. He's pretty much a pillar of the community. And I remember when he first started doing his readings, back when nobody was doing anything like that. And I'm not a fan of reading. Like, personally, I don't watch those videos because I just read stuff. But I think he's done a great job, and he does readings in a way that I could not do, you know, with proper voice acting and all that. Like the YouTube channels that just do readings with like computer generated voices, like what, I don't even know what that is. Like, that's a little shameful. But then, you know, there's a lot of channels. Lord Bung, of course, who I'm sure everyone is familiar with, is doing incredible things now for the SCP community. Forlorn Foundry doing live action SCP videos that are really pretty well done. So I would say it varies. Some of them I really respect what they're doing. They put a lot of effort into their videos and it shows, and others are just sort of, I don't know, seemingly milking the community. But I don't want to name too many names. Let's see here. Star Trek or Star Wars Exploring series. I actually have done Star Wars Exploring series. It's one of my least viewed series because there's just so many channels that do Star Wars. I wanted to cover Star Wars. I'm a bigger Star Wars fan, personally. I'd like to do some more videos for it. Maybe when I'm a bigger channel and people will watch it just because I'm a big channel. Any chance of a collaboration with Volgan? I mean, if he wants to ask, I'll do whatever he wants. I'm really not great at the whole internet social thing. I've never left like a YouTube comment in my life. I just tend to lurk, and you know, so it's not really great that I'm running a YouTube channel. I don't really network. I've never promoted the channel in any way. I just make videos. So if someone wants to come to me and do some collaboration, you know, that would probably work, but I don't really, I'm not going to go out of my way. Yeah, a lot of questions about doing other series. Hopefully. I mean, I would love it if YouTube lasted decades and I just could keep doing this for decades and cover everything. You know, cover every series imaginable. Just drain the entire well dry. So, yeah, I mean, I plan to do everything unless something catastrophic happens to me or to YouTube or to something like that. Could I do a video about the Lovecraftian influence in Game of Thrones? That would be pretty cool. I've not read the books. I have watched the show, of course. and there's definitely a video there that could be made. I wouldn't be shocked if it has been made by some other people. I can definitely foresee me doing a whole series on Game of Thrones lore, but Lovecraftian influence would probably be its own thing that would be pretty cool. Am I going to do the Cthulhu Mythos again? Honestly, I can't really think of a lore topic for Cthulhu Mythos.
Yo,
like
dude!
Cthulhu Mythos itself.
Dude!
That would be
he saw my
video.
question! No way!
Which maybe is a little short-sighted. I'd definitely take any suggestions in my Discord. I have a whole channel just devoted to video suggestions. You can find the link to the Discord in the description. So I don't know. I mean, I never end any of my series. I always like to keep them open. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to come back. I'm going to keep doing more. But right now, I can't think of anything I'd really like to make for Cthulhu Mythos. Is there any series you're really hoping to cover in the future? Well, I always say Warcraft, because I always feel like that would be a break for me. That would be an easier series with a lot of great artwork and concept art and pretty firmly established lore and all that. That would be a bit of a break. Honestly, though, my actual answer would probably be the Stormlight Archives from Brandon Sanderson. It's not ready yet, I think, for a lore series. It's just too early. But I love those books, and I'd love to do a series of videos on that.
This is the best ever. Hey. Yeah. Hey. Did the live stream just end? The fuck's going on?
Let's see.
Oh, I paused it. This is sick.
Let me see here. Favorite SCP video I've done?
Oof.
I want to say, I'm going to probably get the number wrong, but 1762, the dragon, where the dragons went, or whatever. I always love doing videos that have a sort of an emotional story. I find I resonate better with that when I talk about it. And I love videos where I can just use like sort of generic, gorgeous fantasy art, and I don't have to like stretch and reach around for like some obscure thing and some very specific artwork. I can just use the most generic, gorgeous stuff I can find. Those are always my favorite videos. When I did the video on the tale of Beren and Luthien for the Middle-earth series, that was also one of my favorites for a long time. How do I have such a great voice? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that so many people enjoy listening to me. I'm sure plenty of YouTubers probably can relate, but I never ever thought anything special about my voice. And my family just, they think it's hysterical. It's just, I think it probably goes for most channels that you just listen to a lot over and over, unless they're really like whiny sounding or just horrible. You probably just get accustomed to it and enjoy it. I mean, it weirds me out a little bit when people tell me they fall asleep to the sound of my voice, but then I think I do that a lot. There are plenty of YouTube channels I fall asleep to. Is there any series you really don't want to do? Something you know you'd veto if it ever came up? Yes. Despite me starting all these videos with a specific phrase, I probably will veto The Dark Tower if it ever wins. It's a series that really personally resonated with me, and I don't know. I got very emotional reading that series. And I just think it's a series that everyone should experience for themselves, and I know that's foolish to think. Like, as something realistic. No one's gonna, I can't expect everyone to read this massive series of books. But I just feel like it would completely cheapen it if I just summarize the story and summarize different aspects of it. And I just want people to read it themselves. It's probably foolish thinking, but, it is my YouTube channel, so I do reserve that right. When did I start YouTube?